and welcome back to the Mum of All Trades podcast with me, Maria.
Where do we start?
Oh, God. I had last week off and it has been a journey. This whole week, there's no wonder I didn't do one last week because I was just knee deep in the traumas of motherhood. It's been a really tough week. So, just a little story time for you.
Okay.
So Sunday, we set off to go to a car boot. We were meeting Ben's friends there. I'm always late. So I'm rushing around trying to find the boys' hats, scarves, gloves, wellies, everything we need. Chucking them in the back of the car because Ben's getting stressed that we're going to be late. I just chuck my sliders on, chucking the wellies in the back. We get 5 minutes there and his friend rings us up. It's been cancelled. We were like, yeah, all right then. It's like, no, really, it's been cancelled. Yeah, all right then. Yeah, we'll see you. We're literally 5 minutes away. We'll see you in a minute. No, really, it's been cancelled. Like, oh, okay. Like the fog's that bad. Apparently, it was snowing there. So goes on Facebook. Yep, it's definitely cancelled. Which is just a story of our life because if you're going to do something, it's going to character building. That's what we always say. Build character. So right, we'll go into Matlock then. Because it wasn't even like a local car boot, it was like an hour away.
Okay.
So right, we'll go to Matlock Baths. We get there, we meet his friends. I start getting the kids' hats, scarves, everything on. And quickly realise I have not packed my own wellies. I have got slipper socks on and sliders. So I'm walking around Matlock like a lunatic in my sliders, like whatever. Then none of the shops are open because it's so early and it's Sunday morning. We did find one shop and it was a really good shop actually. I really enjoyed that shop.
It's a bit of Aladdin's cave shop.
Yeah. I do enjoy them. And we came out, we started walking trying to find maybe another shop or we'd seen a park that we'd gone past. And at this point Alfie just starts kicking off. Right, I'll carry you. Weighs a ton.
He is heavy.
He is heavy.
Yeah, you don't
He's
look it.
solid.
He is.
He really is solid.
Like going from Jack to Alfie, it's a big difference. That
is. Jack's just like a little feather. You just took him about, but he's
dense.
Yeah, but I think that's because he doesn't stop. He's very muscly, and obviously muscle weighs more than fat. Not that he's got any fat on him, but so I'm picking him up. And this is exhausting. We finally get to the park, and he's like, he wants his shoes off. So I just take his wellies off. We'll just deal with it. And he's really stressing out that much that he has a nosebleed. So I'm dealing with him screaming, the nosebleed. It was just a whole thing. I end up just getting him back in the car. And I turn to Ben. Both kids are screaming because they're cold, they're tired. I end up taking my slipper socks off and putting them on Jack. And on the bottom of the slipper socks it says, if you can read this, bring me wine. I was like, yeah. That really sums it up. And I just turned to Ben and went, how is it 10:30 in the morning? How have we still got to parent for the rest of the day? Like, you can't, like, that's not like, oh, we tried, never mind. We've still got to come home, both sort our work out for the next day, as well as look after them. And we're just exhausted. Like, that's the fun side of parenting, that even when something goes wrong, you're still there. That's still you. You can't just walk off from it.
It's not a game. You can't just like turn it off the Xbox. You know what I mean? It's not a parenting simulator.
Well, I would say if something's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong for the amount of character building experiences we have.
Like, if this was a game, you should be at level 200 by now.
Oh, God,
do you know what I mean?
I feel like my character's had enough development at this point. Yeah. I don't feel I've done all the bonus rounds.
Yeah, it's end of the game. Can't I just like put my cheats in or something?
Where's my medal?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
So going from that horror story of parenting, tell them about the nice one.
Well, I've got a couple this week. Well, it didn't start off great, but I was so stressed with the kids trying to get them in the car. Neither of them wanted to go to school this week. They both want to come to mummy's work. And I'm like, no, I'm doing the babies today. You can't come because you're a big boy, like it's the babies today. No, I'm going in this way. Get in the car. Just get in the car and go to school. I've had enough. And I was getting so mad. I was like, boys, just get in the car. No. And then Jack turned to me and he went, Mummy, are you the best mummy in the world? No, mate, I'm really not. I said, right now I feel like the worst mummy in the world. He knows how to guilt trip me, Jack, anyway. He went, I think you're the best mummy in the world. Yeah, I feel like absolute garbage because I've just spent the last 10 minutes shouting at you for you just to be like, I love you so much, mummy. Like, as if I weren't feeling bad enough, now I feel guilt. But it's so lovely.
Yeah, it's from his heart, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
you know where it's from a really...
Well, he knows how to guilt trip me, Jack, because
Okay.
if I ever shout at him and I'll go, Jack, just give me 2 minutes, I just need to do this. And he'll go, I'm so sorry shouting at you, Mummy. I just love you so much. Please be my friend. Okay, right, now I feel awful. So then I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
He's got you figured out, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah, he knows.
You figured out.
He knows. He's not daft, that one.
Like earlier, it was like, came up to me, oh, a cuddle. Not a cuddle, is it? It's playing. It's chucking them about for half an hour.
Yeah, he knows how to get you. Yeah, he's going, oh, Uncle Richard, Uncle Richard. Like, he's not going to just chuck you about, babe. We're coming to work. But I've had, this week at work's been hilarious because what started off is supposed to be a baby yoga course, but we don't call it baby yoga anymore because it's not very relaxing. We don't do the breathing. Babies aren't chilled. So we just have a bit of fun with it. And I don't know how much you know about yoga poses, but we do some of them in. So there's the cat and the cow.
Okay.
So because it's baby yoga, it's cow and calf and kitten and cat. So the babies just lay underneath you basically, and you're on all fours and you're just sort of arching your back and dipping your back. Cat, cow, cat. Yeah. And I was going, so we're catting. And we're cowing, and we're catting, and we're cowing. Now into downward dog, let's go. And I was like, oh no, we're not going dogging. I was like, oh, do you know what? You I was just so
you were just into the same, okay?
Oh my God. And I was like, it's a good job that we're on week 4, because I think if this was week 1, nobody's coming back. But my brain was just not catching up with me at all. And then this week, I forgot the welcome song as well. I just called one child by the wrong name. And I was like, right, we'll just stop in there. I'm not even going to do the welcome song because it is what it is at this point. I've only just remembered it. And then I've got names wrong. So whatever. And then this week I remembered it. We did it. But I add my own little things into it.
Okay.
So we do clapping and then we clap. Oh, wait. I still don't know it. How do I do it twice a week and not know it? Clap out really loud, then barely make a sound. So it's got to rhyme.
Okay.
So then this week I was like, right, we're going to stomp with our feet and make a little beat. Yeah.
Goes, yeah.
And I was like, guys, can you see I'm making this up on the spot? And then we're going to do some twisting and twist a little faster. Then right round like a pasta.
The Yorkshire accent came through with that sentence, didn't it?
The good old pasta. And I was like, I own the rights to this song now, guys. Like, no copyright, please. I know how much you want it.
Did you get all the names right?
I did.
Is that like frowned upon? Did parents give you a little look like that? He's not called Timmy.
No, they probably find it funny. But I have a thing of I'm determined to get people's names right because it's a real bugbear with me because the amount of people that call me Marie, and there are a lot. Even on messengers where my name is literally above the thing and it says Maria, people still call me Marie. I get Christmas cards with it. Maybe I sent you one first and I put my name on it. Did you read it? It's a massive bugbear for me because I think that's not my name. That's not my name. I
wonder if someone's listening to this now thinking, oh, my name's Maria.
Yeah, I've been calling Maria all this time. God. Don't do it. I'll be cursing you behind your back. Yeah, so massive bugbear with me. So I do try my hardest to get everyone's name right, but I have got, I think, 86 kids at the minute.
Wow. That's a lot of names to know.
Yeah, the trickiest one for me is when I've got like an Isla and an Ayla, or an Evelyn and an Evelyn. So they're both spelt the same, but it's making sure you get the right pronunciation for each child.
And face.
Yeah. Especially when they've had older siblings and then they're coming through, because then I want to call them the sibling's name, and I have to really stop myself. But I find I'm really good with names when I need them at the time. When I look back at pictures and videos and I'm like, I remember that child, but I can't for the life of me remember their name, because I don't need to remember it anymore, because they don't come, or they just came that one term.
Like that memory's now used for a new name.
Yeah. Because my memory only can hold so much. I always say to my sister, like, I've got a jug and a cup, and it's almost like my memory is a full jug of water, and I'm trying to pour more water in. So some of the water's going in, but most of it's just spilling over the side. It's not staying in. The jug's full, guys. Oh dear. So yeah, it's been a really nice week at work. Really nice 2 weeks. I feel like I was talking about Zambini.
Yeah.
Which is the crazy class, but I've done my cooking class. That went really well. We'd made some lovely afternoon tea for Mother's Day. The baby classes have just been awesome. It's just, yeah, they're really good mums. They're really like just the loveliest people. But I've always been bad that I always talk about Zambini.
Yeah.
Because that's what I do 5 times a week. But I had some really good moments in my my other classes. So.
Are the baby classes more interacting with the mums then?
Yeah.
Because babies are gonna, aren't they?
I would say they're very baby led. So I will make a lesson plan, and I will not stick to that lesson plan, because whatever it is, I mean, little Caleb this week, when he first started, he was just asleep most of the time, and he couldn't stay awake because he was so little, and he just crawled for the first time this week. Honest God, and his mum was just so, she couldn't even get her words out, and just moments like that, where that wasn't in the lesson plan. I didn't plan for Caleb to start crawling this week. He was crawling backwards last week. But that changes everything then. We just stop what we're doing and we're like, let's all watch Caleb. And we just have these lovely moments of whatever the kids are doing. We kind of go with them. There's no point in trying to go against them, because they'll fight back. So if they don't really want to be doing some of the things we're doing, we just move on to the next thing. We might do a bit more of that. But yeah, it's very, I would say 50-50. We interact a lot with the little ones, and the mums interact with each other's little ones, which is so lovely. But you'll always find they'll come to me and they'll go, oh, do you know Darcy's mum? Or do you know Jamie's mum? I'm like, oh, Karen or Amy. They're like, oh, I don't know. But they all learn the kids' names, but I never say the mums' names because I don't need to. So I was like, oh, there, mummy. Yeah, nobody knows anybody's name.
So talking about mummies, this week's episode, we are talking about being a stepmom.
Yes. So I became a stepmom when I was 19, which now that I look back on, I think is a little bit crazy. That's very young. But I wasn't a full-time stepmom. It's not like they'd moved in with us. We had them every other weekend. Okay. So me and Ben were still getting to know each other, and I was getting to know his kids as well. But I was still a kid myself. So we still do. We get up to some mischief. I think I'm more of the fun auntie than the stepmom. Okay. Definitely. And I fully encourage the bad behaviour that I shouldn't do. So Ben goes out, he only goes out like once a year for Burns night. And I would still have his kids that night. And we'd just do random things like, what can we bake? Don't listen, Ben. And we'd mix a wagon wheel with a banana and some flour and some milk, and we'd just bake it in the oven and just see what happened. We wouldn't eat it, but just see what happened. We'd make, they're now TikToks, aren't they? But back in the day, it was Musical.ly. Yeah. and we'd be swinging like a wrecking ball. And all my original TikToks, when I look back at my account, are all Musically ones that I've done with my stepdaughter. I don't know if she looks back and cringes, I'm sure she does, but we've always been really good friends.
Yeah.
And we still are now. Like, I always joke that she's the third parent. She was like, Alfie, you can't eat that. Jack, stop doing that. Like, you're the sister, just play with them, don't get stressed. But they are stressful children. So, but yeah, so they're 16 and 17 now.
Yeah. How old were they when you met them?
2 and 3.
2 and 3.
So
this podcast is brought to you by Bambinis. If you want to learn more about our Bambini classes, head to facebook.com/Bambinis.
Very young. We've not had that awkwardness of coming in later. I don't think they will ever remember a time that me and Ben weren't together.
Mm-hmm.
And they won't remember in the beginning. It was very tricky in the beginning. The split was not sort of amicable to start with. Mm-hmm. She had a new partner, Ben had a new partner, and it was very tricky. And then my stepdaughter she was born with she's got congenital heart disease. So she's got a lot of things going off with her. And when she was 7, we were all suddenly put in this room. She was having open heart surgery. So me, Ben, the kid's mum and her partner were all sharing a room overnight that had 2 single beds in, because it's like what they give you to stay, because she was in intensive care. Yeah. And I think at that point, we all just kind of went, we need each other.
Yeah.
There is no point in any sort of petty drama or whatever. Whatever's happened has happened. We're all here for her. Mm-hmm. We need to just put this aside. And actually, me and her mum got on really well. We were really like laughing. We were just taking the car Ben, much to his dislike. But yeah, we all just kind of put everything to the side. And after that, we spent Christmases together. Well, not the entire Christmas, but as we'd do the transitions, we'd spend more time together. And it became a lot easier. And I think that the kids needed that as well. Mm-hmm. We were one unit.
Yeah.
And that was a really important time for us and for the kids, that everybody just got on. It was all amicable. I was always given the arts and crafts side, because their mum's not into that sort of stuff. So I'd always, they call me Mimi.
Okay.
So when we first met and they were 2 and 3, they couldn't say Maria. I can't even say it now, I'm 32. But they couldn't say it, so we agreed on Mimi. And we'd go arts and crafts with Mimi. And I would do all that sort of.
Have you got anything that comes to mind when you say that, when you sing that?
Oh no, that was just a weekly event. Once my old boss, her husband worked in furniture, so we'd sell like massive armchairs, things like that. And she would have these massive cardboard boxes. And we changed Josh's bedroom into one huge cardboard fort. Oh, it was epic. It had rooms, it had corridors, it had loft hatches, it had the lot. And that is just my idea of just bliss, just not caring at all about what is going off in the world and just living in your cardboard fort. But I feel like I could be that irresponsible one.
Okay.
Where we would just have fun. Mm-hmm. And I don't know whether... I don't really regret not being strict with them, because I don't think that Josh will mug me off occasionally now. He's 17, he's going to. But me and Daniela were still really good. I'd like to think anyway. We're really good friends. And if I'm going somewhere, I'm like, do you want to come? And we'll come. And we went to watch the Barbie movie together. I'm pretty sure most of the time she probably finds me embarrassing. I would she's 16. She's gonna find me embarrassing. I'm a big cringer. But she still surprises me that she wants to come sometimes, because I think, oh, she must enjoy it if she wants to come. But yeah, we have a really good time together, and Ben will go off in his man cave when she comes at a weekend now, and I'm like, oh, what cheese can we watch? And I make her watch like Romy and Michelle's High School Reunion, Bring It On. I'm like, these are the classics. These are the classics.
Because you have Dan a lot more now, don't you?
Yeah, so she comes every weekend. And I think it helped really that they stayed with us in lockdown.
Okay.
So although Ben is a key worker, their mum was also working. I don't think she was working full time, but she was still doing some work. So because I was on maternity leave. So the kids just came to stay with us. Which was interesting.
Yeah. You had that full family dynamic then.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the kids were homeschooling because they were doing, well, Josh was doing his GCSEs. Danielle was just sort of starting out with them. So a lot of schools just did like an hour a day but they had full lessons. They were 9 till 3. So they were in the dining room, which you've been in our house. The dining room's in the middle of the house. So when I'm trying to get bottles and sterilise, I'm having to come through the living room, through the dining room to get to the kitchen, to go back again. I'm like creeping through.
Waving at their teacher as you go through.
Yeah. Oh, no. They were facing the other way. They couldn't see me. But then Alfie had just turned 1. So he was just his feral little self. I was 9 months pregnant at this point, so I'd not had Jack. But I remember having my contractions and stuff. And being on the ball, and the kids are homeschooling. I'm just like, what is this life? What is going on? And I'm trying to have to like be quiet because they're on Zoom calls. Oh God.
And then on top of that, just actual COVID. Like you couldn't go to the shop if you wanted to. No. Do you know what I mean?
No, I mean I was classed as high risk pregnancy.
Yeah.
So as soon as I went into my 3rd trimester, I wasn't even allowed to go to work. It was hard. I wasn't allowed to do anything, and I wanted to do so much. And I was big pregnant. I was big. So I couldn't even do stuff that I wanted to do. And I felt like even just getting on the floor with Alfie, being 1, it was difficult. Ben was working more than ever because he's a milkman. So obviously more and more people wanted the milk delivered. So he was really busy with work. But the kids doing the homeschooling, Alfie being Alfie, and yeah, it was crackers. And I remember Ben saying to me, so are you going to be out of the hospital tomorrow because I've got to go to work and the kids? And I was like, right, straight back to it. Oh, one memory that's just come to my head actually that I will forever be thankful to Danielle for. This is the kind of, I think sometimes when you think of like 16-year-old girls, you think stroppy, a bit mardy. Yeah, she's a bit sarcastic, but who isn't? But she is lovely. And I came home from the hospital with Alfie. And I'd planned to breastfeed, so I'd got no formula, nothing. And I couldn't breastfeed. I'd used everything that I'd already expressed. And Ben had gone to bed because he was working that night. I think we'd come home at like 5 o'clock, made pasta bake, and Ben had gone to bed. And I was just sat with this baby going, I don't know what to do. Because normally you have your partner's there with you because they're the paternity leave. But because Ben's self-employed, he just went straight to work. And I just sat there and I just cried. Not like me. But I cried, and she just came up to me, she went, are you okay? And I went, I don't think so. I don't know what to do. She went, right, well, because Ben had got some formula as well, because he knew before he went to sleep, he did go and buy some formula. And I was like, I think I need to sterilise something. And somebody had gifted us a sterilising thing, luckily. She went, right, let's get on YouTube. Classic. teenager, isn't it? But honestly, she got me through that night, and I don't think she will ever know how much I needed her and how much I appreciate her for just the little things that she does like that. She is always in my corner, bless her, and she's an angel. She really, really is. But yeah, we got on YouTube. We worked out how to use a sterilizer. We sterilized some bottles. We did it, and I was just like, and she is the boy's best friend.
Oh.
I know I always joke that she's the third parent, but she is. Well, Ben, because of his autism, he don't like to go to soft plays, anything like that, birthday parties. He gets too overwhelmed, too stressed. It's honestly not worth it. I don't even ask him anymore if I know that I'm going somewhere like that. I'm not even inviting him. Whereas Danielle just steps straight up. She is there. She is so helpful. She's even come to work with me a few times and done some birthday parties. She's a really good egg, and I feel incredibly lucky to be part of her life. I realise I'm not talking about Josh at this point. We don't see Josh as much.
Yeah.
He's working.
And he's slightly older.
Yeah, he's nearly 18. Yeah. He's got his own thing going off. He's got his PC and his Xbox. Yeah, we don't see him as much, but he's a good kid. To be fair, we've not done bad, and I think Ben almost didn't want to have any more kids because they were so good.
Yeah.
I've always said I could take them anywhere with me and they will be the most well-behaved children in the room. I have no doubt. I have so much confidence. But then on the flip side, they're almost so shy and they almost dare do stuff sometimes. We took them to Disney World and I think they were almost too nervous to do it, where other kids are just like, oh, make it on. And they were like, oh. Like it was a lot for them because they're so sort of shy. But yeah, I made a little vow to them at our wedding.
Yeah. Do you remember it?
Not off the top of my head. Not off the top of my head. But
okay then. Have you stuck by that?
I would say so.
Good.
I think one part of the poem was, I didn't give you the gift of life. Life gave me the gift of you. And they have taught me so much. Like I said in the previous one, having been a stepmom, that's taught me so much to prepare for being a mom.
Yeah. Because,
like I said, I know it gets harder when they get teenagers. The problems get bigger, they get harder, they get more complicated, they get more real. So knowing that and having been through that and going through that, I know that when my kids are having a bit of a strop or whatever, and I think, God, this is hard. It is hard, like going to Matlock with a nosebleed, screaming child with no shoes on while I'm in there in my sliders. Yeah, it sucks, but I can laugh about it because that's just what it is. Whereas when they get older, the problems do get harder and bigger, and they make mistakes that sometimes will affect them longer term. I know that from being a teenager, as we unpacked last week. What you do in your teenage years affects you. But yeah, it's good, and we are a cute little family unit when Josh shows up. I'm sure he'll start showing up soon before his 18th birthday when he starts wanting something. Classic boy. But he's a really good egg. Like, he once found somebody was giving away like a Mini Cooper toy. Do you know them, like electronic cars?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's broken, so if anybody can fix it, like they can have it, sort of thing. He went home, he fixed it, and he took it back to their house so they could have it working. He once dressed up as Peppa Pig at somebody's birthday party because nobody else would. Like, what other teenage boy is going to dress up? He's got a good heart. He just makes silly decisions, which I get. I do feel sorry for him a lot of the time because I've been there, but then I also see it from the parent point of view. Where it's so frustrating. Like, how many times can you keep making the same mistakes? You've got to learn at some point. Crackers.
I think that's the perfect segue into the viewers' questions.
Oh, the questions.
So these are all from the viewers. This is all from you listening, you know? like participation.
Yeah.
So what is Maria's podcast?
It's a group cast.
Yeah. Group cast. Well, money could be made with that. I don't know. All right, question 1.
Yep.
Millionaire, you know what I mean? Like lights come in.
Is it multiple choice?
So you have sort of covered a bit and pieces of these already.
Okay.
So did you find the transition from no kids to stepkids hard?
I don't think I did. I just got my nephew, so he was 1, 2 at that point. It must have been 1 because Danielle was 2. And I've always loved kids. I did kids' parties, face painting, anything like that. So I think it was almost like an appeal that Ben had kids, because I genuinely think if I hadn't have got with Ben, I probably would have been a teenage pregnancy statistic.
Okay.
Because I was desperate for kids.
Yeah.
I always thought they gave people them dolls to take home because they wanted to, but apparently it's people that are at risk of falling teenage pregnancy. But I got 100%, so they proved nothing to me. But I would say I didn't find it that difficult, really. The kids took to me quite well. But again, I was just a fun aunt, really. I was just doing all this crazy stuff with them, and I was a kid myself, like 19.
Yeah.
Whereas Ben, I would say, because they're his kids, he was very nervous about me meeting them to start with, because he didn't want to introduce me and then it not end up being a thing.
Yeah.
It was going to be a thing. But yeah, when I did meet them, it just, I don't know, everything just clicked into place. They always say that you know when it's the right person. I mean, I made Josh cry the first time I met him because I pretended to throw him in the lake and like swinging him around, and he thought I was going to throw him in the lake, so he cried. We made up for it by buying him ice cream.
Nothing beats a good first impression.
Oh yeah, he won't remember that now though, will he?
He might now.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure he'll listen to
PTSD,
this.
you know what I mean? Real thing.
He's definitely not listening to this.
So I think this is a very big subject matter, especially for someone who's coming into a child's life. So how did you go about disciplining the kids when you first came into their life? Or did you let Ben do that side of the parenting? Yeah,
Ben was fully in charge of disciplining, but to be fair, like I said, they're such good kids. They didn't really need disciplining. I can say Danielle's probably done one thing wrong in her life, and that was the week before we went on holiday. She cut a fringe in, or off, I should say, and it was just too funny that she didn't need disciplining because you're living with the mistake, it's on your head. And Ben held her up, I still remember, he held her up to the mirror and he went, "Do you think this looks good?" And she went, "Yeah." And it was so jagged. And because I was a hairdresser, Ben was like, "You need to sort this out." There's no sorting that out. I said, to cover it up from the back, she's going to have like, her hair's going to be coming all the way from the back. She's going to look like a monk. I can't do that. So we just ended up putting like loads of clips in and getting through it. But obviously it was the week, it's on all the holiday photos of these clips all in her hair to keep it back. But yeah, I'd say Josh was definitely more of the needed discipline yourself. But again, nothing severe, like it'd hang some posters or stick some things on the wall, and then the paper would come off, and we were living in a rented house. So can't be doing things like that. But it's so innocent. It's not life changing. One thing I will say, when we first got together, we were very, very poor. I mean, we're not rich by any standards now, we're still very poor, but we lived in a 2-bedroom flat, but we only had one of the bedrooms between 4 of us, so all 4 of us were in that 1 bedroom. We had a double bed and then a double bed mattress that came out the bottom. And the good times that we had just watching TV and eating sweets and just enjoying each other's company. Like the kids, I mean, I wouldn't say they probably are now, but they were best friends growing up. I think it didn't matter whether they were at our house or their mum's house or at Ben's mum's house, they were always together. And I've got some cracking home videos what I've made of them, just just being the best of friends. And I'm sure they will cringe at that now because it's not cool to be friends with your sibling, but they needed each other and they were there for each other, and it was lovely. It was such a nice thing to be part of as well. But yeah, it's nice like looking back and thinking, God, how did we get through that? How do you? But you always do, don't you?
Yeah.
I think it's easy to like, you just do at the time. It's like the COVID thing with 6 of us all in one house. I look back and think, oh my God, how on earth did we do that? But we did.
You have to adapt. You can't stop. Nothing's stopping. You have to.
You have to.
And you do. And then you look back, and then something where probably in the moment where you're like, oh, how we can't have the kids here. We've only got one bedroom.
Yeah.
And now you look back at that with fondness. You know what I mean? It's like a lovely memory to have.
It was so lovely. But yeah, as I've got older, I still wouldn't say I have added any discipline.
Okay.
What normally happens is Ben is really strict. I think he thinks I'm too laid back, so we meet in the middle is what we do.
There is probably a middle ground somewhere.
Yeah. So he will come to me and say, this has happened, what's your take on it? I think I calm him down a little bit because he then sees a different point of view than what he's just seen. And it's quite interesting seeing him then go and talk to them and him then use my words.
Yeah.
Because I always don't think I have that big of an impact on what Ben says or thinks. I think, well, Ben just thinks what he thinks and that's that. But he obviously does, and he does take on board my point of view with things, which is nice. But I don't personally, and have never, disciplined the kids. I don't think I've ever shouted at them.
Do you think you've moved on from, I know when you first met me, you were the fun auntie, but do you think you have slowly, I don't want to say mature, but turned into that more of a mother role for them?
No.
No. You think you?
No, I'd still say, and I'm sure Danielle would agree, like when we go, I took us to the cinema, we turned up on the wrong day, the wrong time, we ended up in the wrong screening, and we were supposed to be watching Boss Baby, and we sat there and watched Dunkirk. We were the only people in the entire cinema, and we were taking selfies and like being immature. But that's what I mean. I'm not that. I will never be their mum. And I've never ever tried to be. I'm just always. I'd rather be a friend to them, so that if they need something, they can come to me. I think Danielle still gets a bit nervous. I don't know why. I wish she was that little bit more comfortable. She's very much like Ben in the fact she's got this barrier up. She does struggle to let people in. So she's saying about World Book Day this week. She wants a costume. So I was like, what about this one? What about this? Obviously, I've got like a million fancy dress costumes. And then she texted me a picture of one of the fancy dress costumes and said, please, can I take this? I'm like, of course you can. Take whatever you want. Like, what's mine is yours. I always think that when I use your hairbrush.
Just don't let her cut your fringe.
Yeah, but you can tell now I've got like oh God. The thing is, it weren't even like scissors, they were nail scissors. Do you know the ones that are curved at the end? It was never going to go well. It was never going to end up straight.
So going into another question, how's your relationship with their mother?
I'd say it was good. Like I said, we were all 4 of us were like one big family unit. We spent Christmases together. We did birthday parties together. We were all on the same level. Since then, her and her partner have split up, and we found that quite difficult because we've still wanted to speak to him. And it's definitely been trickier. But I think as the kids have got older, they've not needed that family unit either. So Ben will still have that relationship with her, but I've kind of taken a step back. And as long as the kids are happy and they're healthy and safe, I'm happy. And Ben just does the co-parenting alongside their mum, and I'm more in the background and don't really have much of a say on anything. But then I do spend a lot of time with Danielle. So that's what I mean. I'm like the aunt that I don't have to deal with any of the trickier stuff. I just want to watch movies and popcorn and have fun. But yeah, I don't really have a relationship with her anymore. But I think even as time goes on, I will always have a relationship with Josh and Danielle.
Yeah.
That's always going to be a thing for me. I know when people get really funny about stepkids, like, oh, they're my kids, but they're not my kids, but they have a huge part in my heart. I mean, even after a year of me and Ben going together, I had a tattoo for Josh and Danielle. So it didn't go as planned.
Oh, okay.
It was supposed to be a green heart and then a blue star for Josh and a pink star for Danielle.
Okay.
It's a bit of a black blur. I'm not even sure.
Get out on camera.
I'm not even sure what year it is. Is it that one?
The 3 black hearts.
Well, that's what I mean. It's just mosh. That's my second tattoo, and I will never have another one because it didn't go the way I planned.
Okay.
But yeah, that was for them. And I always imagined that when I had my own kids, I'd add on to it. But I'm not touching that. I don't know what's going on. I'm leaving my hair down. We're not judging. We all make mistakes. But yeah, I love them like they were my own. And yeah, I probably am soft and a bit of a fun aunt with them, but I kind of am like that with my own kids as well. So Ben will always say I'm too soft on them, but I think they're only little ones. Yes, they need to learn some lessons, but not everything needs to be regimented and strict. Just let it be. He's going to kill me for saying that. Sorry, Ben.
All right. That's it for people's questions.
Yeah, cool.
That's been another great episode.
Yeah. Well, thank you if you've made it this far.
Yeah.
I really appreciate everybody that is taking the time to listen. It really means a lot to me. Because I'm not doing this for any financial gain whatsoever. I'm doing this because I want other people just to listen and think, God, my life's not as bad as theirs. At least I can go on a day trip. Or the people who post, I could have easily posted 2 pictures from Matlock that the kids were smiling on, or there was a lovely picture of the kids holding hands with Ben crossing a bridge, and gone. No, it was horrendous. I'm not that person. I'm not going to fake. If I've had a bad day, you'll know about it. I want that real normalization that, yes, when you plan activities, they go wrong when you have kids. It doesn't go as you plan. That is normal. Don't think that your child is not normal because you can't have a fun family day out. It's no such thing anymore. There might be occasionally, but I think you just need to normalise motherhood being what it is. It's hard, but it's amazing.
Yeah.
I can be so angry at the kids and they can just say one thing and I just love you so much. I'm so sorry.
It's everyday struggle.
Yeah.
But with moments, I think you should finish on this. The ice cream. Finish with the ice cream story.
Oh, so we were having a bit of a day and I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to give the kids some ice cream before bed if they get off the phase or whatever. And I just surprised them with some ice cream, put some sauce on and some sprinkles. And Jack just turned to me and went, Mummy, this is the best thing I ever ate. Stay safe, make good choices, and I'll see you next week.